Yeah, welcome back to my series Best to Worst, and in this edition of Best to Worst, we'll be doing Yeezus by Kanye West. So yeah, I've not always been the biggest Kanye West fan, but recently his personality and his songs have been growing onto me. So I went back into his discography and I listened to Yeezus for the first time just last month, so I've had a month's worth of listening time to, process it and give my thoughts on what I think of the album and see if it's aged well in 2019 as of recording of this video. And, this came out in 2015, 14, or 13, I think. Yeah, it came out quite a while ago, so I want to see if it still holds up. Alright, so I, I guess I have the perspective of hindsight, to see if it's aged well or not. That's what I'm trying to say, pretty much. All right, so let's start off with the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 songs. So let's start with "Hold My Liquor." So "Hold My Liquor." What did I think of it? It was kind of a weird track in my opinion. A bit all over the place, and the vocal wobbles, I guess they're alright, and it's not that enjoyable for me. So I guess the one saving grace of this song would be the chorus, the way it sounds. The instrumental on this is very basic and very raw, and I wasn't that much of a fan of it, to be honest. So I gave "Hold My Liquor" a 3. That's what I'd give it. So yeah, on site, did I think it was better than "Hold My Liquor"? Nope. So down here. Black Skinhead, is that better than Hold My Liquor? Yes, actually. Am I a God? Is that better than? Nope. New Slaves, is that better than? Yes. Okay, what about I'm In It? Did I think it's better? Nope. Blood on the Leaves, I thought it was better than Hold My Liquor. Guilt Trip, I thought it was. Yep. Send It Up, nope. And Bound to, yes, I did. So yeah, this is where I think Hold My Liquor was. In my opinion, it wasn't a very good track at all. That's why I gave it a 3. So let's start with On Site. So On Site is the opening track of Yeezus, and I've got to say, like, what did I listen to? I've listened to this so many times now, and I still don't know what it is. I just think this track is too, I don't know, it's too abrasive for my ears. The static, the loudness, like, it's just too much techno, and um, it sounds like sand, uh, im yeah, it sounds like something scraping against my ears, like drums. And I could not actually listen to this song without being painfully hurt by the sounds that was produced in this song. So yeah, it was actually like I had to endure listening the whole song because of the instrumentals were too abrasive for my ears. And yeah, honestly did not like this song at all. There's too much noise. So yeah, that's why I thought the instrumentals and the lyrics I thought they were quite wild. So yeah, I don't think Kanye West would be able to get away with lyrics like this in today's times. But I'll quote the lyrics that he said. Get this bitch shaking like parking sons. Yeah, so that was a bit iffy lyrics. It made me laugh because how stupid it is. The first time I heard it. But yeah, he does have some like really wacky bars on this, and that's one of the many examples of his wacky bars in this whole album, to be honest. So yeah, On Site, yeah, they get that bitch shaking like Parkinson's. That's a quotable, by the way, from Kanye West. So 1.9 is what I gave it. I thought it was a terrible song. I hated it, and I would not listen to it on my own accord. So On God, is that better than On Site? Yes. I'm In It, is that better than On Site? Yes. Send It Up, is that better than On Site? And I think it is. So yeah, On Site is the worst song on the album. It's just because it was such a painful experience that I don't really want to go through that much anyway. So yeah, on to the next one. So let's go with I'm In It. So I'm In It is the reggae song, as I like to call it, because there's a guy who sings reggae in it. And I've never been the biggest fan of reggae music in general. It's just not my taste and not my cup of tea, to be honest. So obviously that made it go down in my books already. But also, just again, it's just all over the place, the structure, and yeah, the instrumental on this is very weak. And we got more of his infamous lyrics that are. So one that really caught my attention was where is it? I want to eat Asian pussy like sweet and sour sauce, something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, Kanye West at it again with his lyrical geniusness. And I've just got to say, it's kind of wacky, but yeah, it's kind of iffy kind of lyrics. Um, so yeah, I'm in it. I gave this 2.4. Yeah, just wasn't that good of a listen in my opinion. So Send It Up is the next song I'll be doing. So Send It Up. What did I think of this? And this was the song where they've got siren kind of sound like playing on a loop, and it just sounds so annoying. It's just like this. Sounds like the fire alarm's gone off and it just won't stop, and it's just so annoying. And it's got some drums in the background, and also it just pierces my ears like the sound. I was listening to this at work, and every 2 seconds it feels like someone stabbing my ears, and it was just an awful experience in my opinion. So I gave this a 2.4 as well. Yeah. So yeah, these two have the same ranking because they're on the same kind of level. But on consideration, you know what? I think I'm in it is slightly better than that, so I'm gonna give it a 2.5. So just to what's it called, differentiate between the two. So I Am a God now. This is classic Kanye fashion, where this is the reason why I didn't like him back in the days, because I never listened to his music, and obviously because he was such a mainstream success, I would you would obviously know of Kanye West. And this was during his arrogant phase, as I like to say, where I used to think he was a bit too arrogant. And this was person, this was the embodiment of what I thought Kanye West was back in the day. I am a god, just the self confidence that he has, really. And this song was another one of those terrible songs that I didn't really like, and it's just so unforgettable. And the hook he has on this is just "I am a god." He says that again and again. Find it a bit too repetitive, and the lyrics, and I mean the instrumental on this is a bit too techno as well. And I really don't like techno music at all. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 2. So "I am a god" is actually worse than these two. So move it down. So all right. Now we're on Guilt Trip. So yeah, um, what I thought of Guilt Trip was, do you know what? I actually like this song quite a bit. Um, can't remember how it goes off the top of my head, but it's got a very catchy chorus that I remember it quite well, and I really like the transformed voice it has in it, and the piano is also catchy on Guilt Trip. So yeah, I really do enjoy that on that. So yeah, what did I give Guilt Trip? I thought it was decent, it was all right, but it wasn't quite up to my taste buds, to be honest. So I gave it a 4.6 Guilt Trip. So yeah, so that move that up. New Slaves, move that there, keep that there. Black Skinhead, move that down there. Blood on the Leaves, leave that there. All right. So yeah, Guilt Trip was an all right song, to be honest. So let's move on to the next one. And I've got to say, next song is Blood on the Leaves. So the sample in this is what's she called again? The sample on this is called Strange Fruits, and it's literally a song about, back in the days where black people used to get hanged, and it's a reference to something swinging in the tree, and it's like a strange fruit, but it's a black person being hanged on the tree. So it's meant to be a really tragic kind of song. But the way Kanye has transformed this into more about into bitches, it just shows that's Kanye-esque for you, turning something serious into something not as serious. But yeah, I really like the way he implements the sample so well. Like he's done it so well the way he uses the same lines, and he chopped it up into making such a good song actually. And even though I don't like that song too much, I do really like the way he's implemented the samples a lot. But I felt like swinging in the trees, where she keeps saying that, it got a bit too repetitive in my opinion, and it's just the way it was pitched as well made it sound like a chipmunk. She kept saying trees, trees, again and again. But yeah, I gotta admire his sampling skills, because I've actually heard the actual song, and it sounds completely different the way he's transformed it with his production anyway. So I give this a 3.4. And on this as well, the other thing that lets it down is Kanye's actual performance, like his vocal performance on this song. It's just not, don't like it too much. There's too much noise in his voice, because the way he's like sampled his voice, and it's a lot of static and too much noise pretty much. Yeah, that's kind of a theme with this. It's just loud, static, and yeah, it's just annoying to be honest. All right, so we got Black Skinhead next. Black Skinhead is actually it's quite a catchy song actually. It's got this nice rhythm, and Kanye actually raps quite well in this compared to his other songs anyway. You know, it's got a nice flow going. It's got the lines, and he doesn't say anything, wacky like he did in the other songs. Well, as far as I'm concerned. Well, actually, he does. There's that mention of something about King Kong, and that was kind of wacky as well. But yeah, and this song is one of his most no, it's one of the most notable songs from his album anyway, Black Skinhead. So yeah, and I really like the play on titles as well for the skinhead, because skinheads are usually used to refer to people who don't like black people, but he's a black skinhead, so yeah, it's kind of an oxymoron in a sense. So yeah, it's got this nice little flow, and very catchy beat, but the instrumental on this is it's quite nice actually. The way during the exchange, it sounds like I don't know, I can't really explain it, but when he's humming, the instrumental is like reversing, and then it goes into a drums pattern. But I don't like how basic the instrumental is, but I guess it really works really well with Kanye, as it's a very minimalist approach to the song. Anyway, so I'll give it a 4.4. So yeah. So we're on to the top two songs on the album. Got New Slaves, and we got Bound too. So let's start off with New Slaves. Alright. So New Slaves, do you know what? I thought Ye's flow on this was very quick and fluid, and it was banging to be honest. I really was enjoying how he was rapping on this beat, and he's got this throwaway sample at the end. Like he just put a random sample in the end. I don't know. It just, for me, it didn't really mesh well as I thought, and it just sounded off. And I just thought it was a bit too random to just have a random sample in the end. And then yeah, and another quotable lyrics from this song is "I'm a dick. I'd rather be a dick than a swallower." And I was like, what? So yeah, that was kind of weird as well. You know, one of those weird lyrics. So yeah, I almost like this song, like to the point where I'd have it on my songs list, but it's not quite there for me. And so I'd give this a 4.7. And I also like the title as well, New Slaves. This album is kind of woke, to be honest. I would say New Slaves, Black Skinhead, those two titles, Blood on the Leaves as well. They're quite woke kind of songs in one retrospect, anyway. I would say. So yeah, 4.7 is the second highest rating on the song on the album. It says a lot, to be honest, about the album. And yeah, speaking of random samples, I almost forgot. On site has this random sample in the what do you call it? The 3/3 of the song in. This is a random sample that lasts like 10 seconds, and it goes back into techno mode. And I do love Kanye's soul samples, but yeah, that was a bit weird, and it was wasted on site, to be honest. And so yeah, I left the best for last. We got Bound to, And Bound 2 is just completely different to the entire album. It feels like it doesn't really belong here, in a sense that Kanye West was obviously Yeezus is an experimental album, and I felt like every song on this album had a lot of experimental, and as with all experimental albums, they either, it pushes the boundaries quite a bit, and it's either a good thing or a bad thing. It pushes the boundaries to a new height. That's, so it pushes the boundary to a good zone, or it can push the boundaries to a negative zone. And I felt like pushing the boundaries towards more of a negative zone. So that's why I didn't really like the direction he was going with in this album. So yeah, I feel like every song on this was an experimental push except Bound 2, and Bound 2 felt more like his old work, like the more classic Kanye, as I would like to say, the old Kanye. Yeah, so that's what I felt like Bound 2. It just didn't fit with the album for Max anyway. So yeah, it was pretty much I felt like Kanye was he made all these new songs, but he wanted to make a song that was familiar to his fan base, like a true and tried algorithm that works. So that's why he made Bound 2, and I want to say I'm so glad he made Bound 2 because Bound 2 is amazing. So first of all, I've played Bound 2 so many times. It's like I love the song so much. I really love the soul sample he uses for the most of the production, and the starting of the song where he repeats. I forgot what it's called when he forgot what that technique's called, but at the start of the song it goes like he makes it repeat itself a few times. I thought that was I thought that was quite cool the way he implements it. It sounds like a record being scratched in, and it really sets the tone for the song. And then yeah, the lyrics on this, Kanye's lyrics they were all right, to be honest. I really enjoyed his lyrics because this was actually a love song, and he actually doesn't say anything too stupid on this album. I mean, on the lyrics anyway. Um, yeah. So some of the lyrics he mentions is, "What you doing on the club on the Thursday?" and she's only there for her friend's birthday. Um, she's pushing 30, but she's still rocking Forever 21. It's quite cute actually. The whole love song thing and the lyrics, they're quite cute. And we got the chorus hook, which is a what do you call it? It's like a dance anthem, you know. And I thought the way it transitioned into it, at first it was a bit weird. So on the first few listens, I was like, no, it's not working for me. But after a few more listens, I really started to see the song like the way it color the way it kind of meshed, it just felt right. And at first, it didn't feel right, but after a few listens, I really like the way it transitions into the chorus. So I thought that was pretty good. And I've got to say, the mastering on this is amazing. Just the way it's just so loud and in your face. I really like it, and yeah, everything flows so well. And the way he uses the samples, this is Kanye's peak, I guess, of sampling. I love the way he does it. So yeah, and the lyrics on this were good. The beats was good. What more can you ask from Kanye West? And yeah, I felt like he really put a lot of emotions into his lyrics anyway, a lot lyrics and thoughts. So yeah, that's Bound to. And I've got to say, it's one of my favorite Kanye songs. So I'd give it an 8.1. As you can see, there's quite a big gap, and this is definitely an outlier in the album. Bound to 8.1. 4 point, yeah, so we go from 1.9 to 4.7 to 8.1. So yeah, that's a big jump at all, very big jump. So yeah, let's talk about Yeezus as a whole. So I don't know why he made Yeezus, to be honest, and it just seems like an abomination, but I'm glad he made it because some good things can happen from a bad thing, as I think Yeezus' terrible album, as his Bound 2 was the only redeeming quality, I mean, the only redeeming song from this album at all. And in general, it's just too abrasive. It's too loud. Like the way he's mastered it makes everything sound so loud. Like obviously the way he's mastered it is very skillful, but everything is so loud and dynamic, and it completely hurts your ears, especially on site. And what's it called? They send it up. They really get to your eardrums, and cannot. Honestly, I've not had that experience where like yeah, it's a painful listen indeed. But yeah, it's just experimental but too wacky. I say it just maybe this album was too much for me to process with my inferior intellect to Kanye's. I just could not process what he was trying to do. Maybe that's what it is. But I think, in my opinion, it's a terrible album because it was just an awful listening experience. Too much noise, too much static, and it was just thrown together. It felt like when someone just throws paint at a wall and it expects it to, come out with a masterpiece. And that's literally what I felt like Kanye did with this anyway. And yeah, so this album, what would I give it overall? And yeah, I didn't like his attitude on the album as well. Let's talk about his attitude actually. Like he's got too much confidence, and he's arrogant, he's cocky, and he's just like saying weird stuff in this album as well. So yeah, the themes on this as well as yeah, a bit off as well. So what I give this, I'd give this album a 2 because I don't like it at all. I hate it. I thought it was an awful album. So yeah, that was it. Bye bye.